Now, Sam McIntosh is the strategic campaigner at the Transport Workers Union's South Australian branch. Good morning, Sam.
Oh, good morning, Rebecca.
Now, you've heard what the industry's concerns are about the ruling, that it will drive up cost and cost contractor drivers' jobs. What do you say to that?
Well, we've certainly heard one perspective from the industry, only one. Rebecca, I just want to clear a few things up to begin with. The transport and logistics industry in Australia is the most dangerous industry by a factor of 15. It's 15 times more dangerous than any other industry. Every year, more than 300 people are killed on Australian roads in heavy vehicle-related crashes. That's 300 people is not just the drivers, that's members of our community. It's husbands, wives, sisters, brothers. The whole purpose of this tribunal is literally to save lives. And here's the message. The evidence is in. There is a clear link between payment systems and pressure on our roads, pressure being put onto drivers on our roads. The root cause of what is going on in the industry goes to the economics of the industry. Basically, we are price takers, we're not price makers. Many years ago, a major client and a transport company would be able to sit down and they'd be able to talk about the service that the transport company would provide, and they'd negotiate a price for that service. In 2015, the case is different. Transport companies and contractor drivers get told what they'll do or they will not get the work. And they're being told that by major clients like Coles. I mean, by anyone's estimation, Coles plays an enormous role in this industry, over 1 million freight movements a year. Their profits are revenue's up 2%, and yet every year their transport manager has a KPI to decrease freight costs by 5%. And the reason why I bring this up is this order is all about making the entire supply chain accountable for what's going on our roads. So we need a minimum rate of pay, we support the order, and we need to make the supply chain accountable.
So what evidence is there that increasing payments to truckies is going to make the roads safer and cut those road deaths?
Sure. Well, there's been countless academic research, coronial findings, judicial decisions, government inquiries that all go to the point that when drivers are made to skip brakes, when they're made to when they're not paid for waiting time, when they're not paid to load and unload their vehicles, they're forced to drive faster, they're forced to drive longer, and when a driver is fatigued on our roads, people get killed.
Do you concede that this could lead to job losses for owner drivers if companies start using its fleet drivers only?
Look, an interesting example happened not so long ago in Port Botany, Rebecca. In 2011, the Port Authority and the New South Wales government, the Port Botany, dealt with a pretty big issue out there. They had trucks lined up for kilometres. Trucks were waiting for stevedores for up to 7 hours a day. On average, a truck would be waiting 22 hours a week unpaid in a line to get loaded and unloaded at Port Botany. What the Port Authority and the New South Wales government did was they decided to regulate that sector. They put in place financial strategies and other conditions whereby truck drivers now wait 32 minutes to get loaded and unloaded at Port Botany. That's created efficiencies for businesses. That's benefited the community, but it's made those roads a whole lot safer because those truck drivers are now not under pressure to cut corners, cut maintenance, drive later into the night just to make ends meet. It's a great example of where regulation can work.
Now, is the minimum wage for contract drivers something the union has been pushing for?
Well, absolutely, and I take issue with something that Steve and Sata have said about why treat subbies differently. Subcontractors are different to company drivers. I mean, the tribunal's done research into this, and they found that 29% of owner drivers across Australia are underpaid, and they average $29,000 as their income. I mean, what you've got to remember about owner-drivers is they've got a tremendous amount of costs. And setting a minimum wage is all about, a minimum hourly rate is all about cost recovery. I mean, these drivers have got to pay for their truck, their financing of the truck, fuel, oil, registration, tyres, maintenance. But at the end of the day, they've also got to earn a living, and that's the labour component. Now, the tribunal engaged a very reputable global financial group, KPMG, to look into rates of pay for owner drivers. And KPMG produced a cost model that factored in all of those costs, and then they came up with different hourly rates of pay that could apply to subcontractor drivers. Now, it's not one rate of pay. The rates of pay look at what sort of vehicle are you using, what sort of work are you doing, are you towing a trailer? All of those inputs put into the cost model. And as a result, we've now got different figures that would effectively set a minimum rate of pay for contractor drivers. Now, obviously it's a draft order, and the union is happy to continue consulting with the tribunal and industry, and will certainly be in those discussions. But the premise that we don't need a minimum rate of pay for owner drivers is simply wrong, and ignores years and years of evidence and carnage on our roads that says differently.
Sam McIntosh, thanks for speaking to Mornings.